The following is a presentation of The Day.
On a humid Wednesday evening in East Lyme, Connecticut, one of the great rivalries in all of the ECC and in fact all of the state of Connecticut takes center stage in girls lacrosse as the Waterford High School Lancers drive a mere mile down up the road to the East Lyme Vikings, and they will do battle for the second time this year, and all the action live on game day. Casey O'Neill along with the coach Audrey Bombassi, and I am so excited to have you. It is always good to bring in an expert because I love when people know more than me, so I love lots of people. Thank you for joining us, and This is a rivalry that you have been a part of in a very close sense, and
yes,
I'm going to get you up here now.
Yeah, I have chills. I'm getting ready for this game. I'm kind of sweating. We battled East Lyme many years with me on the sidelines coaching, and it feels good to not have anything to do with that right now, although I miss it.
Well, you still have some direct we call it the coaching tree. Taylor Shannon is one of yours.
She is one of my first players, so it's really special to have her as the head coach now. Not even taking my spot. Did she take my spot?
Taking a spot,
spot.
in the long line of Waterford coaches, and
that's right.
On the other side of things, you commented, Coach Schneider's been here a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, East Lyme turns out, a reputable girls lacrosse program, and we have seen these games be highly competitive. Earlier this year, no different. Waterford winning in overtime in an epic game. Both teams come in with really great records. East Lyme coming in at 10-3, Waterford at 10-2. They are both a little banged up, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. But when you think of this rivalry, just what are some words that come to mind for you?
Well, I think when Waterford beat East Lyme earlier in the season, that was the first time Waterford has ever beaten East Lyme in the history of our program. So so tonight's a big game because that was history broken earlier in the season. Just two strong teams, East Lyme having been around much longer than Waterford. So it's really cool to see that Waterford has gotten so much closer competitively to East Lyme, because it did not start that way. It was pretty brutal in the first few years.
We got our third member of the broadcast team today making his sideline debut, Josh Cuevas. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you so much, Casey. We have a very anticipated match tonight. Last time these two played, they went to double overtime with the goal from Katie Jamrog. Back to you, Casey.
Yep, Katie Jamroga, the senior, put it in the net for Waterford, got them their first victory over East Lyme, as you mentioned, Coach. A big moment in the program, and another part of being at the top, which is where Waterford wants to be, is finding a way to overcome injuries. And Waterford is certainly going to have to do that if they're going to stay competitive tonight. They've already played this year without Sadie Tiven, the fabulous junior multi-sport star who is still recovering from a knee injury. They were playing without Chloe Landry, who is also out with an injury, but a mere hours before tonight's game, we learned that Addie Wiseman, their star junior, would not be playing tonight. She's got some injury concerns that they're going to be looking at and addressing, but Waterford's going to have to find a way to overcome the loss of three very important players, and one which happened very recently. East Lyme lost their starting goalie, Brielle Ram, in the offseason, and they had to turn to junior Kaylee Knapp. But Coach Schneider said that the timing of the Ram injury was very helpful because it allowed Knapp the opportunity to come into the season knowing that she was going to be the starting goalie and kind of preparing for that both physically and mentally. Much different mindset when you know the job is yours. And he said that Knapp has really seized control and has played some of her best goal of late, including an epic game against Hand, which they won in large part thanks to her save. So
16 saves that game.
yeah, that's a huge number in any game. It's certainly leading to a victory. But talk a little bit about, how do you as a coach motivate kids to overcome injuries?
Oh man, that is a hard one. As a team, I mean, it's the whole team, right? One person is injured and everyone steps up. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to see.
Moments away from the start of this one between Waterford and East Lyme, but Coach, finish your thought. How do you approach injuries in general, but then an injury that kind of comes out of nowhere that you weren't expecting a mere hours before a game?
I think you just have to get the girls pumped up. Remind them that your injured teammate, you got to play for her. You got to do everything you can to let her know that you've got her back, you're her team, and you're gonna still play your heart out, even though your heart might be breaking that one of your girls, one of your teammates is not there with you. It's really amazing to see that with East Lyme losing their starting goalie right before the season, their Kaylee Knapp has stepped up, and they have a pretty amazing record with 10-3. So she knew what she had to do and stepped into those shoes, which is awesome.
Both teams continuing a trend in the ECC of playing a fierce out-of-conference schedule, necessary if you're going to compete on the state level. While ECC lacrosse is still improving and becoming a higher level of lacrosse year after year, it requires trips around the state to play some of the premier programs in order to kind of get your footing with the rest of the state. You look at Waterford, and they played Brantford, lost. A very good Brantford program. South Windsor, they went to Westerly, Old Saybrook, and they've hung really well. Here we go with the opening draw. East Lyme in the home white and maroon. Waterford in the all Royal Lancer blue. And East Lyme controls Jessica Knapp. Nice run by Knapp, absorbs some contact and loses it as she was trying to find Callan Keefe. Out it goes, and Sophia Scarpa will pick it up for the Lancers. Playing it back through the keeper, Clara Mahoney. Nice pass in transition.
And they're playing to the dark blue lines. The girls lacrosse lines on this field are a little bit harder to see. They're the navy lines. It's obviously lined for several sports. Boys lacrosse is in red there.
Skyla Campese. Ball bounces around until Kaylin Johnson picks it up. And Waterford will operate in good scoring position. Coming in and looking for a shot was Sturm, and a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like they had their defensive sticks were too close to her head. They were in the sphere, so she gets a free position.
So let's look for Sturm here. She'll have the ball and a free run at the keeper, Kaylee Knapp. Whistle, shot, and a save,
Nice
Knapp.
save.
And what a tone setter that is right off the bat, making a save like that at a point blank shot. Sturm got a good look. Knapp stood tall.
Yep.
Off to the races. East Lyme, there's Emma Stoddard. Stoddard straight down the middle of the field. Now bounces it outside, and East Lyme will set up its possession. Taylor Kaczynski. And around the edge as it goes. Knapp trying to get some space, shoots and scores! Knapp beats Mahoney, low left, and East Lyme jumps on the board first. It's 1-0.
That first goal is always a huge advantage in your heads when you're on the field. So I'm sure East Lyme is celebrating that.
9:41 in the first period. East Lyme jumps on atop 1-0. So you've had two big shots. One keeper makes the save. One gets beaten. The difference between a 1-0 game is that. Draw. Controlled by Stoddard. East Lyme with possession. Stoddard. And a good turnover and possession as Sturm picked it off for Waterford. I see more of the girls with the helmets than ever before. Do you think that that's just the start of what will become an eventual transition to more protective equipment for the girls?
I do. With concussion rates, it makes sense. I know it's not the game is not the same as boys lacrosse. It's not as aggressive, but it doesn't mean that you're not getting hit in the head. There are rules to try to prevent that, but you can see just how fast-paced it is. That sticks are up. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see more and more helmets.
And a goal by Kaczynski. Taylor Kaczynski with 8:42. Not even a minute off of the Knapp goal, and East Lyme up 2-0.
Top corner. Nice placement.
So two different shots, and Mahoney seeing two different looks here in the early going. So back to the equipment for a minute. If more girls go to the helmets, and eventually we get girls lacrosse with helmets, isn't the inevitable counter result being a more physical game?
It could be, and I think that's been a big part of the hesitancy to go to helmets, because I think the whole game would change.
Nice pickup by Salick of East Lyme. Controls the draw, and now she's heading up the sideline. East Lyme already on top, 2-0 here in the early going. Kaczynski, fresh off the goal, dishes it over to Knapp. She has one as well. Good look in the middle. Dodging was Pizzaglia. Now back to Salick. What do you see Waterford needing to do here? They, to try to match up down 2-0 here.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself right now. East Lyme, they're fast. They move the ball very quickly. They seem to settle. They settle, and then when they're ready, they drive pretty quickly. And that's, it's never easy to defend a fast team.
Pass loose in the middle, and we're going to get a whistle. It's going to go against Waterford, so East Lyme with a good opportunity here on the stick of Callan Keefe. Keefe winds, fires, off the post. That was as good a chance as you're going to see. Waterford catches a break there. Sturm draws the whistle, and Waterford will continue to go.
It's nice to see the self-start. That was a new rule a couple years ago, but they don't have to stop on every whistle anymore. Makes the game makes the game move faster, and it's a lot more fun to watch.
A shot and a save. Brigham had the shot. The save was made by Knapp, but a whistle. And a card.
You know, I didn't see if he had, or I'm sorry, if she had held something before, because if she took a shot.
So explain to the folks at home what they're seeing right now.
Well, I'm not sure what the call was. I think she got called for taking a shot while someone was, in the shooting space, which is a dangerous shot. So East Lyme got possession.
Knapp plays it out. It goes off of Hart, but a nice step in made by Killoy. And Killoy went up the middle, lots of room. Loses it though on a nice play by Kaylin Johnson, coming the other way now for Waterford. Waterford needs a goal to steady things here. Yeah. They don't want to go down 3-0.
She's slowing down, waiting for her team to come, but it allowed the defense to double team. So that was a dangerous check. It's in her sphere. So she gets a free position.
So Johnson will have it, the sophomore, just outside of what we would consider prime scoring territory. She's going to need to get rid of it here, and does.
So number 2 for East Lyme is out on a penalty.
So Emma Stoddard sitting out for the moment.
So both teams are down 1 right now.
In front, Sturm shut off nicely. Gets it over to Stewart, and a beautiful save by Knapp. And Knapp coming in and taking charge. And a whistle.
Yep, another dangerous check. In the sphere.
So Waterford, Sturm has it up top. Nice pass in front, and a shot just over the top. Johnson bounced it, and Knapp was in really good position. Possession will stay with Waterford. Sturm looking for an opening. Carrying, and loses it out of bounds. It will go to East Lyme as Brigham gets back onto the pitch for Waterford.
That means Waterford's up a player right now. This is the time to capitalize on that.
Keeper, Knapp, the long pass, dangerous over the head of her teammate. Makes it a 50-50 ball, but there first is Keefe. Out of bounds, it'll be East Lyme ball. Out of bounds on the sideline. So East Lyme will inbound with Keefe.
Yep, and they are even again. Penalties over.
Nice run by Mazzulli. And a good check, but a whistle. East Lyme in prime position here to go up 3-0. Mazzulli will have the possession for East Lyme. Mazzulli rips and scores! Mazzulli with a strong shot beats Mahoney, and it's 3-0 East Lyme. East Lyme has definitely come to play and to overcome the earlier loss to Waterford in double overtime. Waterford looking a little rattled right now without some of their important players on the field, trying to figure out an answer for East Lyme's speed.
Speed plays a big role too, especially when you're down some of your starters. You're not substituting as often. So these girls are they're going to get tired.
Sturm for Waterford taking the draw. And the freshman, Lexi Pizzaglia, taking the draw for East Lyme. So senior and freshman in the draw circle. Draw controlled. Well, I wouldn't say controlled, but East Lyme had the best shot at it, but then a whistle. Waterford will have the possession, and a quick transition needed here for the Lancers. And that whistle's against Waterford.
Yeah, that's a charge.
So that one's a relatively new one on me. What is necessary for a player to be called for a charge?
So basically the defensive players were in position with their sticks together, and Waterford, ran through. If they hadn't been close enough, if there was a lane that she could get through, she can go through the center, but otherwise it's charging through.
A steal by Sturm, straight on, and just missed. I think that shot was altered by an East Lyme defender. Campese. Big hit and a whistle. As Kaylin Johnson went down hard, but bounces right back up. Waterford will have the possession here as Johnson comes up to take it.
That's a clean check from behind. Oh, it's not. Oh, she went in her sphere. So had she been out, another inch or two on her cross and made that check, it would have been nice and clean, but she was a little too close to her head, so she got called for in the sphere.
There goes Sturm. Loses it. Nice check. Picked up, heading in the other direction now. Juju Garaya passes it off, and making a run was DiLoretto, but a whistle stops play.
We got a card. I can't see what color.
I'm going to go with yellow.
18. That's Adeline Steinhaus. I'm not sure.
So Steinhaus comes off for Waterford, which means East Lyme will have the advantage, a 3-0 lead, and 1:48 remaining in the first. DiLoretto.
So this is when East Lyme knows that they're down. Waterford's down, so this is the best time. Yep.
Keefe to Romanowitz, and a goal for the Vikings puts them up 4-0. Beautiful pass from Callan Keefe, and Morgan Romanowitz was there to put it away.
It's so hard to defend when the other team gets to have an extra player. You always have to have 4 players back. So in this case, Waterford was down 1. East Lyme got to have all 7 girls over the restraining line. Very hard to defend.
Draw on the ground, bouncing around. Looks like East Lyme will get there first, and they do. Straight up the middle. And putting it away. What a run by Pizzaglia. Lexi Pizzaglia, the freshman, all the way, took it, and a 5-0 Viking lead. And Waterford, that was 17 seconds. Waterford looks kind of like they've been, had a bucket of water thrown on them.
It's hard to get your spirits up with a 5-0 lead in the first quarter.
Good hustle, controlled. Romanowitz already with a goal, passes it off, in front, shot, and a goal by Kaczynski.
Wow, right over the defense.
And that was 14 seconds. So in a matter of 31 seconds, 3 goals in 31 seconds for East Lyme. Waterford just needs to get to the end of the period.
Yeah.
Still a player down.
Yeah, they'll be down for the rest of the period.
A draw control would be a huge lift for Waterford just because they need to maintain a possession.
Yeah, it'd be nice for them to get 1 goal before the end of this quarter. That'll help their spirits for sure.
There goes Pizzaglia. Big hit in front. Dangerous ball bouncing around, but Mahoney gets the stick on it first as the clock now down to 45 seconds remaining in the first.
So defense they had to leave their marks to go double that ball carrier, but in doing that, they leave girls open. It's a hard call to make, but the ball is always the most important thing.
Quinn Brigham. Waterford looking to get a goal.
That's a charge. She turned her back and tried to keep going forward.
Talking it over with the official, trying to learn what, getting an idea of what she did.
So on a foul, the offending player has to be 4 meters behind the ball on the restart.
Intercepted, however, by the Lancers. Campese had it, and out of bounds it goes. Will Waterford have time to get a shot off? I don't think so.
It's still in bounds.
I don't think Waterford's going to have a chance here because a nice job by Knapp to run out the clock.
Yep.
So we're at the end of 1, and what a period for East Lyme. 6 goals, and Waterford going to have to try to figure things out. We'll be right back with second period. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Here at Game Day, we're proud to bring you unrivaled video coverage of local high school sports, all of it free for you to watch. These videos are not free for us to produce them. If you'd like to ensure that we can keep covering your school and your teams, there's a few ways that you can support us. Hit up our merch store and pick up some Game Day gear in your school colors. Our camera operators are always looking for those shirts and hoodies in the crowd, and you may see yourself on our next live stream. We get a lot of support from businesses in our community, and if you'd like to join them as a sponsor, send us a message and we can connect you with our advertising staff. Finally, The Day is the organization behind everything we do here at Game Day. If you want to support The Day's community journalism, consider a print or digital subscription at theday.com/subscribe.
Game Day is a production of The Day Publishing Company. If you'd like to support Game Day and help us continue to bring you the best in Connecticut high school sports, please consider purchasing a print or digital subscription to The Day at theday.com/subscribe. 50 seconds remaining here in the break before period number 2. And East Lyme with an incredible first period, 6-0 over Waterford. They just did about absolutely everything right, from controlling virtually every draw, a massive possession advantage, timely saves from Kaylee Knapp, and I think a definitive offensive game plan. We saw them pepper Clara Mahoney with shots from up, down, never the same spot in goal. Mahoney certainly not expecting the array of attack coming from East Lyme.
Yeah, their shots have been phenomenal, powerful, hard to stop for sure.
Our guy Josh Cuevas was in the huddle with East Lyme. Josh, what did you hear?
They seem to be suffering in defense, but they are focused more on possession, brick by brick type of thing. Coach is saying how they need to play all or nothing in this match. They are down too much to be playing the way they are playing currently.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, Waterford, that's exactly it, right? Block by block. There's no 7-goal shots in lacrosse. You have to chip away one at a time. And so
they've got Audrey now on the draw. Audrey Stewart.
Yeah, giving him a new look.
Trying something different. You got to switch things up when you're down like this.
And still on the turf, and Sturm comes up with it for Waterford. Maybe a change in direction will help the Lancers. Sturm all the way, loses it late, and Knapp is there to pick it up. Nice job by Kaylee Knapp.
So you can check a goalie when she's out of her goal circle, but it is, you got to make sure you don't get fouled. But she'll step out of the goal circle so that the clock, she can hold the ball as long as she wants if she's out of her circle.
Picked off Waterford, a little turnover. On the run now, Brigham. Brigham looks for a teammate. Nice cut from Stellick, but it's well defended by the Vikings. And a turnover as East Lyme comes up the other way with Emily Selleck. Good speed from the Vikings. Pass in front, looking for the loose ball. That was a good job by Mahoney coming out of goal to make contact. And we'll get a whistle. So East Lyme will have it. Cassidy O'Brien. East Lyme will settle for working it around the perimeter. There's Jessica Knapp, scored the first goal of the game. Nice pass in front. Mahoney can't corral it though. So in any sport, when you're down a substantial amount, it's about the next score, right? Get the next point, get the next points, the next goal. Right now, Waterford's in a 0-0 game. They just have to be the team that gets to 1. And then you worry about doing it again and doing it again. Right now, if you look at 6-0, it seems insurmountable. And I think sometimes it's not even good enough to say, let's win this period. It's going to be, we have to get that next goal. Micro, goals here.
Yep. And that can change the whole demeanor of the team. If they can score that one goal, it gives them that optimism that you're not out of it yet, but you got to get that one goal.
Good hustle by the Vikings. Killoy gets there first. Passes it through the keeper, Knapp.
They're making great connection on their passing.
Good speed. Kaczynski now with lots of daylight. Kaczynski, strong left hand. And a whistle.
I think that was a shooting space call, which means Waterford, I couldn't see who, one of the Waterford girls was in shooting space.
Kaczynski heads in, shoots, and scores! Another goal from Taylor Kaczynski. That's her third of the game.
So shooting space is one of the hardest rules to understand, and even as a player on the field, because a lot of it depends on where the referee is when they make the call. Shooting space is a kind of a triangle from the ball to the goal, and if a defender gets in that space, they get called for a foul. So as a defender, it might seem like you're not in the space, you're leading with your stick like you're supposed to, and you can get called. So it is a very frustrating foul for any defender.
Waterford just cannot get possession. Pizzaglia, lots of space. Kaczynski now. You know that East Lyme can score in bunches, as they ripped off 4 goals late in the first. Now taking their time, controlling possession and clock management, and a whistle. That one will go against East Lyme. Waterford.
Here we go, passing it up the field.
Just trying to get on the board right now. Brigham back to Stern. And out of bounds it goes. We'll see who got there first. It looked like it was Knapp, the goalie.
Well, it wasn't a shot, it was a pass, so I think it was going to be East Lyme's ball anyway. When it's a shot, it depends on who's closest for possession.
Everything working for the Vikings right now as that one bounced right to him. Keefe heads behind the goal. In
wide
front.
Open.
Absolutely wide open, but pass sails just a little bit too high. Romanowitz loses it in a nice play out of the other direction. Jamroga passing it up the middle now. Waterford with possession. Brigham goes down, no whistle. Play on. East Lyme with space and with numbers.
Yeah, you gotta play, always play on. That's, you can't depend on the ref to make the call that you might deserve.
Romanowitz, now around it goes. East Lyme again taking a little air out. 5:45 remaining here in the second.
So Waterford's going to have to decide when to step out and start pressuring the ball, because East Lyme, you know, they can take all the time they want.
Up top it goes to Kaczynski, and she's just bigger than Waterford. She goes up high with the stick, grabs it, and it's her 4th goal of the game. That's a set play that East Lyme has run a few times now to great success. The high pass to Kaczynski. She catches it high, shoots it high, and beats the keeper. It is now 8-0 East Lyme. Stewart in for the draw control effort with Pizzaglia. Stewart and Pizzaglia up in the air, and again East Lyme comes out of the pack with it. Controlled by Romanowitz. Kaczynski. 5 minutes remaining here in the second.
So this is the same setup, right? Waterford gets settled in defense, and then they just keep sending cutters through. That's a charge. defense was set up really nicely, nice and close to each other.
Charge called on Callan Keefe. So Waterford heading through the middle of the field, and they get it to Sturm.
I think that's Kaylin Johnson.
You're correct. It is Kaylin Johnson. Nice pass to Brigham. And now Waterford will try to reset and see if they can get. And I should know Kaylin because she doesn't wear a helmet.
That's the only way I knew it wasn't Victoria.
There's Sturm. Now over cross and intercepted. Oh, nice job.
Nice catch.
And a save made by Knapp. Dad joke, you can't sleep on Knapp.
Oh,
See,
boy.
you have two young children, so you understand these are the things that make people laugh.
Yep, I get it.
Peter Wappy is an old grumpy man, so I can't make him chuckle with dad jokes.
All right.
Waterford with the interception heading up the field. Lancers trying to get on the board right now. They have just got to break into the scoring column to feel, like all is right in the world for just a minute.
Some nice passing.
In front, and East Lyme controls. Casey Lambert. Good job defensively
Turnover
by Waterford.
Summer Discordia.
Discordia pulls back, and Waterford will set up. I feel like Waterford has not, their passing's been a little too close, and
Yes.
has resulted in a difficult making the catch. Nice save by Knapp on an out-of-nowhere shot from Stellick. So you watch East Lyme, and there's a good 10 yards in between players as they make those passes. I feel like Waterford's more like 4 and 5 yards. It makes it difficult for the receiver of the pass to see it. It's usually in traffic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the traffic that makes it even harder.
DiLoretto just wide, bothered by Mahoney.
Yeah, East Lyme has done a nice job with the long passing down the field. It moves the ball very quickly. And Waterford has definitely made more of the shorter passes in congestion.
Well, even here, working it around the circle, they'll look to make that pass to the cutter from at about 10 yards out. Waterford a little more bunched. Look how much Waterford is spaced right now because of how East Lyme is able to make those longer passes.
Right, and this is a good strategy too, because look how they're pulling Waterford out. So if they have a cutter go in there, that cutter isn't crowded. So a lot easier to make a catch when you don't have everyone closing in on you. So pulling defense out is a good strategy by the offense.
Kaczynski looks for a little breathing room, thinks better of it, gets it out to Stoddard, and now East Lyme will work it around again with Jessica Knapp. Knapp makes a run, shoots, and scores! Jessica Knapp with her second goal of the game, and it is 9-0.
Yeah, that double team's got to come a little bit quicker. Close in.
1:22 remaining here, and it has been, when I say all East Lyme, it has been all East Lyme. 9-0. Not what anyone saw. If you look at the Waterford scores, I mean, it's just, they've only given up double-digit goals to East Lyme when they won, Westerly when they won, and in a loss to Brantford. That's the only time they've given up double digits this year.
All right. Waterford gains possession. You know, they've got to think of every draw as a restart and starting fresh each time. But it's hard to get out of your head when you're down by 9.
East Lyme is on pace for their highest goal output of the year. 17 is their previous high against Fitch. .40 seconds remaining here in period number 2. Behind the net, DiLoretto Good anticipation by the Lancers there.
Yeah, Bree made the right call. You've got to start putting the pressure on, or else they're just going to keep passing it around.
Go back behind the net. DiLoretto. Spin, nice move. Again, back behind the net, looking for the cutter. Give and go. What a beautiful goal. Absolutely gorgeous. Callan Keefe and Gianna DiLoretto. DiLoretto puts it in on a beautiful cut. What a gorgeous goal. And that was at the buzzer of the half. So we are at halftime, 10-0 East Lyme. We'll be back with comments, thoughts, and second half action. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Before this year, I haven't stepped foot on the field with a lacrosse stick before, so this is all very new to me. Two of my friends, Jessica Knapp and Kaylee Knapp, really convinced me to play lacrosse this year. They said that it would probably be good for me because they hyped me up, said I was very athletic, and I went with it.
We had a couple players that played with her on the soccer program, and they encouraged her to come out and play and give it a shot as a senior. She's a good athlete and a tremendous soccer player too, and she had some friends on the team, so she decided to come out and give it a try, and just was able to do things in the winter and the indoor season, start to learn the game a little bit more.
I didn't really think to have high hopes for playing. I thought I was just gonna be standing on the sideline cheering my team on. I just really thought that I would be supportive to the team. But the moment that I got told I was gonna start varsity, I was really stunned. I had in my head that I was gonna work very hard to support the team and, give my all to be a productive player and stuff,
It's never happened. I mean, for me, even to have freshmen come up and play at the varsity level, that hadn't happened until last year, and then this year again. So, it's great. I mean, there's great athletes that are roaming the halls in the high school, and if they want to come out and play, we've got a lot of first-year players on our JV program as well. We've got a couple of foreign exchange students that came out for the first time. So, yeah, it's rare at the varsity level and at our level of play, but, anybody's welcome to come out and try, and if they measure up, then they get the chance to get on the field.
Soccer and lacrosse, you're using your hands for lacrosse. Soccer, you're just using your feet. So basically, I had to learn how to cradle. I was very awkward with it. Probably still to this day, I'm very awkward with cradling. Just a bunch of stick skills and stuff, just the basics of lacrosse, how to pick up. I love it. It's great. I've had so much fun. I've made so many new friends. It's kind of just a new environment for me, and I'm really starting to like it.
Stepping into the season, we did a Google form to kind of just for our seniors who would want to be a captain, and it was kind of unanimous that Victoria Sturm is the face of our girls lacrosse program.
I have 4 older sisters, and my oldest sister started playing lacrosse in middle school, so I grew up watching it, watching all of her games, sitting on the sideline with my dad even, and so of course I wanted to play. I look up to my older sisters so much, and so I just had to do it too. And my dad was a big part of that, of course, as well. He coached me throughout my entire youth experience, and now he's coaching me here as well.
Jeff was the one who really developed the youth program, and that's why we've been successful the last couple seasons. And it's not just 1 or 2 players who are going to goal and scoring. It's 5, 6, 7 of them that can drive to goal, that can pass into the 8, that can defend really well, and he has a lot to credit for that since they were kids. They've all been playing together, and that's huge for lacrosse because we were kind of late to the game with the sport. When I was in high school, it was a first-year program. We were a JV program, and that's kind of when it started. And to go from that to this, and to be so competitive and move up to Division I and compete with East Lyme, NFA, it's just a huge accomplishment, and Jeff has a lot to do with that.
My freshman year, when we played East Lyme the first time, we lost 19-1. And it's just insane to be able to come here and put up a really competitive game where we're going into double overtime the last 2 times in a row. Like, I think that's just, it shows for itself.
Victoria Sturm is somebody that you wish you could just replicate and have like 7 or 8 Victoria Sturms on the field. You know, what can I do for the team, and what can we do to just be a better team? Like, it's all about the team, and that's what you want in a player.
The legacy that I'd like to leave would be just the positive environment. Like, that's a big thing. I try not to yell on the field. If I do yell, I make sure it's not angry. Like, I just want to make sure that this is like a fun sport, a fun time, and a positive environment for all the girls out there.
It's time for the Athletes of the Future Grade 8 Plays of the Week. At number 8, let's start with Fitch Lacrosse's Roman Rich. Behind the back, acknowledge him, because no one saw it, and that is a goal. Still looking for it. At number 7, Everton Brown, Killingly track in the 100-meter versus Lyman and Wheeler, and he is fast. Hand time 10.6, that's good for top 10 in the state. At number 6, Evan Lopez, the Connecticut Rush Soccer U17, has a free kick from off the screen. He's gonna bend it, float it, hook it, and score. What a goal from Lopez. At number 5, Jaden Aruta's gonna throw it up, and look at Avon Reston. One-handed catch and off to the races. A touchdown for the Outlaws. What a catch. You know, I remember a one-handed catch by Patrick McGugan. Well, we're going to switch sports and go to lacrosse, and look at the long stick. Look at McGugan go. He made all kinds of moves, but he dishes it off like a good teammate. But there's the ball. Get it. I have never seen that in lacrosse. McGugan channeling his middle linebacker tight end into lacrosse. At number 3, that's just a clean single from Wheeler's Abby Butramovich. I mean, that's just a single to left. What? Oh, that's hit pretty well into the gap. That looks like a double. I am sensing a theme. That's a single, that's a double. That means gap shot on the horse. Get going, Abby. Can you get 3 out of this one? And she can. Well, I think we all know what's coming next then, right? Don't pitch it there. Mush. Yard ball. And that is the cycle. A single, double, triple, and home run. Abby Butramovich with the cycle for Wheeler softball. That is not easy to do. Her teammates know it. Big time effort. At number 2, Killingly Intermediate School. Lyle Lang, 9th inning. Oh, that's a walk-off single. The win over Plainfield. Let's get you across the plate, and let's go mob Lyle. Hey, that guy scored the run. Give him a little love, too. Agony of defeat, thrill of victory. Oh, it's all there with the youth. Big-time single for Lyle Lang. And number 1 play for a week of free training at Athletes of the Future, St. Bernard Lacrosse's James Niles. Old Saybrook, first thing, down a goal, let's rip and score and send it to overtime. Well, if you're gonna do it at the end of regulation, let's do it again in OT with the game winner. James Niles, back-to-back goals, gives the Saints the win. Those are your grade 8 plays of the week. Send us your best plays.
Communities that are no longer covered by local newspapers become news deserts that lack journalists providing government oversight and access to quality information. The Day is committed to providing comprehensive news coverage in every town in southeastern Connecticut, but we've had to scale back coverage in some towns, including Ledyard and North Stonington, due to market forces affecting local news companies around the country. We need the continued support of the communities we serve to help fund additional staffing that enables us to provide the kind of coverage our readers expect in every town in the region. If you'd like to support the Day's News Desert Fund, please visit givebutter.com/theday.
production of The Day Publishing Company. If you'd like to support Game Day and help us continue to bring you the best in Connecticut high school sports, please consider purchasing a print or digital subscription to The Day at theday.com/subscribe. We're back at halftime, a 10-0. That's right, you didn't hear me wrong. 10-0. East Lyme lead at halftime in what was a dominant performance on the field. Our own Josh Cuevas has been down watching and listening to both sidelines. Josh, what are you hearing from the coaches?
I've been eavesdropping a little bit between both teams. East Lyme, very confident going back into the field. One thing they did say is to try to not have as much points because they don't want them to feel like they have that opportunity of coming back. Waterford, on the other hand, they have some issues to fix. They said they have too much gaps. They're not playing at the same pace that East Lyme is playing. And they also feel like they need confidence to play with some heart out there, because as of right now, 10 at the end of the half, it doesn't seem that way.
So here we go to start third period, and I think it starts with Audrey Stewart taking the draws for Waterford. I think she did a good job getting the ball to where it was a 50-50 ball. Now Waterford needs somebody in the circle to capitalize on that as well. Pizzaglia has been really good, but that time it was taken by Stoddard. So it was Stoddard and Stewart. As if they want to make my life easier, Stoddard and Stewart taking the draw. Waterford gets the whistle. And
the confidence thing is huge, what he said down there. Hopefully just winning that draw, they can start with a confident drive to goal. Did you see that slash? She got a yellow card for that. She didn't even make contact with her stick, but because the check was so big, it's called a slash, she is out for 2 minutes.
Callan Keefe coming off the field for East Lyme, so Waterford can't ask for more. They have a man advantage and possession of the ball. They have to try to take advantage. And you could get 2 and 3 goals, in a row because of the momentum. And, I don't know you're going to overcome 10, but it makes you feel a lot better to get 1.
Absolutely. They've got 2 minutes to capitalize on that player down right now. They're passing it around, but I would drive to goal. Because if East Lyme is playing the way I would coach, they're gonna get it down onto their side, and they're gonna hold on to it until their teammate comes back.
A rare missed pass in the middle of the field by East Lyme, and Sturm comes out of it and turns it right over again to East Lyme. Vikings have done everything right to this point. Stoddard, Knapp, Salick, controlling the perimeter right now. There goes Salick.
Yeah, they're down a player, so they're gonna just pass it around. Now this is exactly, Waterford's got to take advantage of every dropped ball. They've got to get it back on their side. This is where those long passes come into play. You move the ball quickly down the field.
Yeah, these passes have to be one touch and go. They have to be quick, take advantage of the space that you have. The fastest way to cover that space is with a crisp pass, not running and possessing.
They're still up a player.
There goes Stewart. Finds a cutter.
Beautiful pass.
In front, and a beautiful save by Knapp. Great shot from Campese on a beautiful cut and reception. She went low, and Knapp was there to stone her. That's a beautiful save by Kaylee Knapp. The other direction now comes Jessica Knapp. Knapp right in front.
And they are even. That's a save save by Mahoney.
DiLoretto went down hard to the turf, but no call because it was more of a trip than anything else.
That's a check towards the sphere.
Sturm possessing for Waterford. Still in control. Gets into Waterford territory now where they can set up shop.
Their
East Lyme.
defense is coming right out and pressuring that ball.
I was just going to say the East Lyme defense is forcing Waterford to make decisions very quickly and really putting a lot of pressure, unlike Waterford, who's content kind of sitting back on the perimeter. Nice look in front.
Pass.
Right in front.
Dangerous follow through.
DiLoretto had check that. Jamroga had it in front, but her shot bounced high, and a whistle will go against Waterford on that shot.
Yeah.
So Jamroga's going to have to come off.
Her stick followed through. Her stick hit the other player.
And that's why we wear helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, right? If you were at home watching, going, I don't understand why do they need helmets? Well, there's one right there. I mean,
exactly.
And if you're wondering, does it hurt? I would encourage you to go and grab a large stick from your yard and whack yourself in the head with it and see if you think you might want a helmet. I'm just kidding. We on Game Day do not recommend or endorse the hitting of oneself in the head with any form of object. See, that's the kind of pass we're talking about, allowing transition so quickly for East Lyme. East Lyme using all the space to their advantage. Kaczynski, who has been the goal leader thus far in the game. She has 4.
I think that was on Victoria. So Victoria, while she was defending, her stick dropped to horizontal when she made contact with the East Lyme player. Oh, no, you know what it was? It wasn't even that. It was offsides.
Much easier.
Yeah.
Now, I never make fun of the rules of a sport, except occasionally field hockey, because no one knows what they are. But I will say that sometimes, for the folks at home, lacrosse, especially girls lacrosse, can seem a little challenging to understand the rules.
Yeah.
You have to know what to look for, and you have to know what the officials are doing. In front,
There
nice
we go.
save
There's
by
a
Mahoney
save.
and a shot from Knapp. So, that could have been a call against Sturm, but the offsides occurred first.
Yeah.
And the official made the choice to go.
Well, that defensive stick positioning is very challenging. Oh, wow. Did you see that?
What an
Turnover.
interception that was. Kaczynski's been amazing.
Your stick it's supposed to be between 10 and 2, but you'll see the sticks drop more and more, and it's really a subjective call by the ref if it's horizontal or not.
East Lyme, again, you see Waterford very passive, allowing them to work the perimeter. Nice cut in front, and a nice job by Mahoney coming off and stopping DiLoretto.
Yeah, Clara Mahoney seems to feel more confident right now. She seems to have gotten out of her head. She's made several good saves already this second half. It's a good way to start.
Kaczynski. Right in on net, turns, shoots, and scores again. Taylor Kaczynski loses her headgear, but gains the goal. 11-0 on Kaczynski's 5th goal. Now, Here's what's interesting. We're a long way away as the clock runs with 4 minutes and a half. When we look at player of the game day at the end of the game, the Roberto's Log Cabin player of the game day, you would think that when one girl has 5 goals, that she would jump to the pad. But we still have 19 minutes of lacrosse left. But right now, East Lyme is in position to do something that they haven't done all year, and that has not happened to Waterford all year, which is they are pitching a shutout right now. And Kaylee Knapp is largely responsible, starting right off the very first shot she faced to start the game. So we're a long way away, but we are seeing a remarkable defensive performance from East Lyme and their keeper as well.
Absolutely.
It would be really tough to go down and tell the girl that has 7 goals that she's not player of the game day. But if there is a shutout pitched, I tell you, it's going to be a tough choice. It's like the kid that hits 3 home runs, but the pitcher throws a shutout.
Yeah.
Here comes Waterford.
Right.
You know what? Waterford just score like 4 goals. Take it off. We'll take them off the hook. Nice pass in front. A shot.
There
and
it is.
A goal.
There goes your shutout.
Molly Stellick gets Waterford on the board. Beats Knapp for the first goal of the game for the Lancers. And it is now 11-1. And right there, just feel good about, take the win.
Yeah.
In this period, it's 1-1.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say, and you said I don't even know what you would say. I think you got to go out and say we got to win the third period.
Yeah.
And we're going to play that.
Yep.
Doesn't the game no longer matters? Let's go win the third period, maybe win the fourth period, and feel better about ourselves. But
that's it. Take the momentum.
Sometimes you dig yourself too big a hole to get out of, so you just got to look for small victories. Definitely a better defensive effort here by Waterford, allowing only the 1 goal. And I'll give you another stat here in a minute about small victories. DiLoretto looking
there goes
for
the
a cutter.
Right in the center.
DiLoretto spins, shoots, and scores.
Yeah, the cutter pulled the low D right off the crease. She had to go with that cutter, but it opened up that lane for her to roll right around the crease.
That's DiLoretto's second goal. So what I was going to say was Waterford gave up 6 goals in the first. They gave up 4 goals in the second. They've given up 2 goals in the third. So the defense and the keeper are improving each period. And I mean, at this point, that's kind of the things you need to look at. You need to say, you know what, throw the first period out, or throw the first half out. We're tied in this. You got to kind of play it that way, because otherwise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have to go into second half. It's a new game.
Because what you might do on the professional level or even the college level, I don't know that high school kids are as adept at doing mentally, and that is the idea of just throwing it all away. Just going, you know what? We're going to pretend this game never happened. It's gone, because it was just, you know what? It's gone. I think in college it's hard to do that. Professionals can do that. They can say, you know what? Weird stuff like this happens. We're going to flush it and move on to the next one. I don't know that high school kids, I'm speaking as the father of a 2-sport senior, he doesn't let things go that well. Like he won't. He'll perseverate over a loss until the next game happens. Even when you say just flush it, let it go, it's hard for high school kids. They hold on to each of these things.
Oh, yeah.
40 seconds remaining here in the third period. 12-1, all Vikings. There goes Bree McNeil. See if Waterford can get a shot off before the end of the third.
East Lyme does a nice job of double teaming in the midfield, so it does make it challenging for them to get that ball quickly down the field with these long passes.
Now, I imagine that's a good strategy, but when you face a really elevated team like they did with Cheshire, Daniel Hand, they probably get rid of it so quickly that they penalize the double team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. You've got to be able to move the ball quickly down the field so that double team doesn't matter.
We're at the end of 3, 12-1 East Lyme. One more to go. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Last year, Waterford senior number 4 on the grade 8, the Olympic go kick. I'm here with Cam Dickinson. I don't think she can pull it off. It looks way too hard. I think it was a fluke. Get it done.
I got it.
That was just too easy, and that is a grade 8 play. Send in your best plays and see if you can beat that and make this year's grade 8 Olympico style.
Relive a century of history from the perspective of southeastern Connecticut with the new hardcover book, Front Page News, A Century of Big Stories in the Day, 1881 to 1981. This 136-page limited edition book captures the pulse of a region and a nation, showcasing the day's most iconic front pages from its first 100 years. Order today at theday.frontpagesbook.com.
We're back. Coach Phil Schneider's got to be absolutely thrilled with what he has seen from his Vikings here today. They have a 12-1 lead as we head into the fourth period. Josh Cuevas, you were down on the sideline listening in there in the break. What did you hear?
Waterford has come to playing hard out there, still remaining to playing with heart. They need more confidence in this game and also try and maintain position as well.
Thank you, Josh. I think, you have to sort of we talked about taking small victories. For them, now it's not just the small victories, it's a little bit of a gut check time, right? It's like a challenge to, what do you have in you? What's your intestinal fortitude here in this fourth period? We can lay down and, lose 16-1, or we can battle and maybe we lose 12-6, but it's what can we get done here in the fourth?
Right, they've already accomplished, they didn't give them a shutout. So now what's next? How much can they close this gap?
And the third period was only 2-1.
Yeah.
But a quick whistle here against Waterford is going to give DiLoretto a scoring opportunity for the Vikings as she'll be poised for her third goal. She's looking for the hat trick as well. Whistle. DiLoretto, free run, dip, shoots, and scores. Gianna DiLoretto with her third of the game. And a 13-1 East Lyme lead. I mean, there's never, one thing that my soccer co-host, Colin Delaney, taught me a while ago, from a coaching perspective, is we don't use the word loss, right? There's wins and then there's lessons. There's, you can learn. You can win or you can learn. Otherwise, and if you learn, then you can argue it's never a loss, right? There are wins and there are learning opportunities. And if you do it that way, this would be, if I'm a coach, if I'm Waterford right now, if I'm Taylor Shannon, I'm trying to say, what can we learn about ourselves in the next 10.5 minutes? What can we take from, yeah, we're not going to win. We're not going to win the game. But what can we learn about ourselves here in the next 10 minutes that we can take with us to the next game against Daniel Hand, by the way. Now, if you look at it, Waterford, they go Daniel Hand and Guilford and Lyme. They don't have an easy game the rest of the way. East Lyme finishes with Pomperog and NFA, putting them in a slightly better and easier, finishing position. Tough stretch for Waterford, especially while they wait to hear about Addie Wiseman. East Lyme taking its time.
Yeah, Waterford's got to put some pressure on.
Stoddard for the Vikings. Over to O'Brien. Working it calmly behind the net is Callan Keefe. Keefe spins to her right, shoots from an odd angle, and Out it goes, but O'Brien was there, so East Lyme will maintain possession.
When I was coaching, the goalies had to wear so many pads, and I always thought how challenging it would be to move around in goal with shin pads and these big bulky shorts. And you can definitely see the goalies, both of them, their movement. I mean, they're so agile in goal without all the gear. I wonder how many bruises they get.
Goal, I can't even imagine. I had the opportunity to play goal on the boys' side of things against East Lyme in a practice. Took a 100-mile-an-hour shot right off the chest. Never saw it. Felt it. They asked me if I wanted to try it on the girls' side. I said no, thank you. I'm done. I don't see nearly as many pads. I'm good.
Sophia Scarpa with that run up the field from defense.
And I think that was a pass that became much closer to a shot than anybody thought. As we're down now, under 8 minutes remaining in this one. Look at the great long passes from the goal for East Lyme and how well they space. The spacing here is beautiful.
It is exhausting. A turnover like that when you work so hard to get the ball down the field and then have to sprint all the way back.
Stoddard, great look
Nice
in front.
save.
Knapp. Mahoney stopped the first one, but not the second one as Jessica Knapp found the net. A beautiful goal, and the Vikings keep pouring it on. Credit Stoddard with an amazing catch and a beautiful pass, and then credit Knapp with sort of the tenacity to stay with it as we're going to get some substitutions into the game for East Lyme. I don't know how many healthy players Waterford has to even do that. They were pretty thin to begin with, but East Lyme's going to give some others an opportunity, and it starts right in the draw as Viola Brush will come in to take the draw for East Lyme. And a nice step in by Pizzaglia to win the draw control. So Brush does her job. Beautiful passing. Good look in front, but a good step in interception. Out of bounds it goes, and East Lyme will maintain possession here. Keefe spins and shoots from the side, tough angle. Clock ticking down, 5:40. East Lyme slowly.
Yeah, the clock won't stop because of the score. Any score where one team is 10 points or more, the clock will run.
Beautiful move in front, and the goal from Callan Keefe absorbs the heavy hit and puts it in the net. Keefe pops up. Again, why are helmets becoming a thing? Because when you go to the ground, absorb a hit, and hit the turf, Callan Keefe is tough, gets the goal, and puts East Lyme up 15-1. So now, as a new member of our broadcasting, I should let you know that the standard has been set very high by other co-hosts. I mentioned Colin Delaney, my great soccer co-host, and his message about you win or you learn. Mm-hmm. Well, Colin's watching the broadcast because now that you're in the fold, you now need to watch all other broadcasts that we do at all times.
Of course.
Colin just texted in and said, that's right, you win or you learn. So he's not only is he broadcasting with me, he's watching broadcasts, he's critiquing broadcasts, so you win or you learn. So now you got to know that I expect you to be watching all of our coverage.
Of course,
Yep. Whether it's basketball, there's the swim finals, diving.
Yeah.
You need to be tuned in.
Oh yeah, I've got nothing else to do.
You got 2 little kids. They should. I want the little one's first word after he learns mommy and daddy. I'll do game day.
Yeah. Yep.
What are we gonna watch? Game day.
What's that?
So there was no draw there? Was that because of the penalty on the goal? They just gave it to East Lyme to restart.
I missed it. I apologize.
The answer is yes. In front, wide open, and Kaczynski, who has been dynamite, held on a second too long and lost it. So knowing nothing about whether that's true or not, yes, of course, it's because of the penalty that happened, and they gave the possession to East Lyme with no draw.
That's what happens. You get me distracted. I don't see what's going on in the game.
You were overwhelmed with the notion of
was.
extra screen time.
I was.
East Lyme not taking the foot off the throttle here. Brush, back to Romanowitz, to O'Brien. Nice pass in front, open, and the goal! Maddie Summers puts it away. (16-1), and Waterford, the most they have given up this year for goals was 17 in a loss to Branford. They are in danger of tying that. The fewest goals they scored this year was 7 in a loss to Stonington. Clearly, that will be it. East Lyme has given up, if you look at their scores, 5, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2. Very good defense and exceptional goalie play from Kaylee Knapp. But I don't think anybody off of 12-11 a mere week ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't think anyone expected anything like this. Nice pass. Dodge
there
shot.
It is.
A beautiful goal by Katie Jamroga. She gets it to go and keeps Waterford with a little bit of momentum here, a little bit of positive thoughts as they pump one in with 2:30 remaining. So with 2:30 remaining here in the ball game, it is now 16-2. Stewart for Waterford.
All right, it's a second draw control in a row.
Haley blazed into the game for East Lyme.
Got to get that shot off before they triple team you down in the 8.
We're getting close to the end of this here, so we should let everybody know that following the game, you're going to want to tune into all of our social medias at Game Day CT for the Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day interview, as well as interview with head coach Phil Schneider. And so you're going to want to tune into Game Day CT on our socials and check out who got the Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day. I think it's still up in the air. And the winning coach, Phil Schneider's interview as well.
So that was a check to the head. So they, East Lyme is down a player. Waterford has possession just outside the 8.
And they lost their possession.
She moved before the whistle. So there's certain plays that you can self-start, and then there's certain plays that you have to wait for the whistle. And I would imagine as a player it would get confusing.
Waterford in possession though, as we're down to a minute remaining in the ball game.
That's when they need to just drive to goal.
Sturm in
There.
front.
There
Shot.
it is.
And another
one.
goal from Jamaroga on a nice pass from Stewart. So back-to-back goals from Jamaroga makes it 16-3, and the clock will continue to tick, and I don't know that we're going to get much more of a possession after this. Both teams taking their time.
Yep. Waterford won the last 2 draws. If they can win it again and go right to goal.
Haley Blaze in for the draw, and it's controlled by Pizzaglia. 13 seconds remaining.
You can hear
Kaczynski.
people yelling to hold.
Kaczynski will hold on to it as the clock runs out on a 16-3 East Lyme victory here over Waterford. We'll have interviews with the Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day, as well as head coach Phil Schneider on our social medias. But I want to take a moment and say again, thank you, Coach, for joining us, and you know, you did a great job. We're happy to have your expertise here in women's lacrosse, because I certainly learn something every time I do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun to watch. I wish the result was a little different, but it's a good game.
Well, we're going to make sure you get home in time to make sure Poppy doesn't need any assistance. To make sure the house is,
Get back for bedtime.
That's right. So we want to say thank you to the coach, and for Peter Wappy and the crew, we'll be signing off. Again, go to our social medias, Game Day CT, for the Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day and the interview with Coach Phil Schneider. Thank you for watching Game Day live on theday.com.